you might want to mute yourself. I'm going to put it on speaker view. So for the purpose of the YouTube channel. And I just have some things to share. And this is really kind of off the cuff, you guys, from my heart. I have a few notes here. Just really talking about, again, the direct selling opportunity and what we have to offer people, because so many people out there right now are looking for change in their life. There's so many shifts happening in the world and the economy and the job market. And, you know, post-COVID, it's a new game. You know, many people are, especially this next generation. And I've talked a little bit with Cambry and Kenzie about this, you know, the womb to tomb, you know, go to college, get the job, work for 25 years, get the go watch, retire and die. That model is outdated. Okay. People, average person, by the way, changes career 7 times in their adult life, jobs or careers. So, you know, when people get into Mary Kay, for some of us, we're lifers, you know, and it takes us through lots of phases of life. For some people, it's just for a season. For some people, they learn skills and they go on and use that into another career. But it is here for the long haul. We're in our 60th anniversary year this year. And it has changed with the times. Mary Kay's kept up. But I come across this every once in a while. I'll read you guys something. You probably have heard it before, but it says, is direct selling really that difficult? Because a lot of people are moving to work from home and direct selling business where there's no limit as to how fast you can scale and how much money you can make. Mary Kay always said the top commission's never been paid yet. And so this is an article. I don't know if Mary Kay wrote this. I think it was, yes. Well, I don't know if it was from Mary Kay, but I want to read this to you. The following article is an excerpt. Oh, here it is. An excerpt from a speech given by a direct seller at a local meeting. She was asked to speak on how her direct sales business compares to working a regular job. Although the speaker is unknown, I want to thank her for her thoughts and insights. And this, she was not in Mary Kay, by the way, or maybe she was in Mary Kay. She said, lately, I have heard so many people say how difficult direct sales can be. It's hard. I can't get enough bookings. This just isn't for me. I'm too scared to ask anyone else if they would like to buy my product or join my team. And if they try it and quit, they hold me responsible. I didn't know how difficult it would be. These are the remarks she was hearing. She said, well, I am a single woman of 3 who before joining the direct sales family held down 2 jobs. I would get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and not get to bed till midnight most nights. After returning from my part-time retail job, packing lunches, checking homework, and relieving my mother who helped me with the kids. That, my friends, is difficult. It is difficult always having to lower your dreams to meet your means. It's difficult to miss your son's football game because you have to work. It's difficult knowing the rust bucket that you call a car is eating you alive in maintenance, but you can't afford a new one. It is difficult to realize that someone else is going to watch your daughter take her first step or have your son say mama to the daycare provider. It is difficult knowing that you have to spend 40 years of your life working for someone else only to realize that you will be retiring on 1/3 of what you can live on today. That's a fact. Or worse yet, it is difficult knowing that you have diligently worked all your life only to be given an early retirement and replaced by someone younger, more capable. I will tell you what is difficult. It is difficult waking up one morning and realizing that your children, the most precious things imaginable, no longer need bottles, diapers, have parties, or are shorter than the baseball bat that they're trying to swing. It's difficult realizing it's too late and that time has frittered away that can never again be retrieved. It slips through your fingers 1 second at a time. It's also difficult watching the spark in your partner's eyes fade because you both realize the house you've been wanting is just a dream because someone else is controlling your finances. There is difficulty and pain in success, and there's difficulty and pain in failure. Difficulty and pain in success will last a short period of time, but the pain and regret lasts a lifetime. Which one is really more difficult? You will pay a price for your actions and your choices, and you are constantly where you are because of the choices you've made so far, or allowed others to make for you, as Linda Tupin always says. Decide to stop accepting your own excuses. Decide to use your obstacles as stepping stones. Decide to stop procrastinating and decide to be successful, and then take action today. Mary Kay is a unique way of life that provides the brushes, the oils, the pigments, and the canvas on which you can paint your life as you really want it to be. Your or you choose your own colors, you choose your own design and your own patterns. That last quote was from Mary Kay. And again, most of you know her story very well if you've been in the business for a minute or two. Is she faced a lot of those obstacles on that glass ceiling, and the men, her male counterparts, she would train being promoted above her after she taught them everything she knew because they had a family to feed. She felt she was kind of ahead of her time and born in the wrong body. But in the 60s, growing up, she was really, really smart and wanted to go to medical school, but their family had no money. So she said, I married the Elvis of my day and got married and raised 3 kids. And, at one point her significant, or her husband, was away in the service, I believe. And she said, I lost him to the war. It was the war between the redhead and the blonde, and the redhead won. And she had such a sense of humor, Mary Kay did. But she was actually archiving and kind of writing down her experiences in direct sell that she thought really worked, because she built a couple of other companies to be top selling companies. One is still in business today, I believe. And so she took all of that experience and that knowledge, and she started to write it all down on a pad. And she realized, I've got kind of a marketing plan here. If I'm so smart, what would I do about that inequity between what women are paid and what men are paid and how they're treated in the workforce? And so she decided to take that, her life savings of $5,000 at the time. And I think she got a little bit of help from her son, Ben. And then she took her, she was ready to start her company using these products she'd been using on her face for years that never really got off the ground. She bought the rights and she began the company. She was about a month from opening the doors to the company, and her husband, who was the finance guy, the business guy, died at the breakfast table of a heart attack. And she was warned by all the accountants and lawyers, just fold, just cut your losses. You're never going to make money. You're going to go bankrupt, especially paying those kind of commissions that she wanted to pay us, which has never changed. It's always been 50%. And so she decided to take a chance. She said, I believe that women, given the opportunity, are capable of anything, everything and anything, given the opportunity. The opportunity was the thing that was missing. She felt this was her calling to create this opportunity for women. And again, I'm very guilty of this too, but I think sometimes we so take for granted how easy we have it today compared to our pioneers that, slept all this stuff around, that only had, cars and phones that hooked to the wall. And now we have so many opportunities to make money. I've had $400 in orders in the last 2 days, just reorders coming in, some holiday sister, just different things. And we have that opportunity any moment if we need money to go sell some product, right? And so we're never waiting for a paycheck. So I'm getting off track a little bit, but I wanted to read one more thing to you. Have you ever wondered what the secret formula is to our business? Have you ever thought, if I just do what Susie Q did and I take that idea and run with it, I'm going to be successful like her? Do you want to know what the answer is? Those of you who've been in a while, there is no magic formula. There's no secret. There are no shortcuts. Mary Kay is mathematical, not magical. No one else has ever gotten there the easy way. And easy means little or no effort. Mary Kay is pretty simple. It's a no-brainer. You learn how to do a presentation on the product. You learn the marketing plan. Everything else that you need to know, you can be taught in the business once you get your basic skills down. But it does, if you really want to be successful, and you're going to be, you're going to get out of it what you put into it, but it takes focus and action to reach any goal that you set in Mary Kay. And, having been in Mary Kay for almost 35 years, I'll be 35 years in February. I've been all over the map. I've been driven. I've been moved fast. I've had breaks. I've been in maintenance mode. I have had other callings that have taken some of my attention, but Mary Kay has always been there. It's always been there. And so much of even what I reap today are the benefits of the hours and the time that I spent initially in my business. And I firmly believe, again, every ounce of effort that you put into this is going to come back to you. So sometimes when people get discouraged in that emotional wheel as a new consultant, and maybe, you have somebody cancel and somebody, we used to call it porching, when you get to their house, they turn the lights off and hide. They're not there. I mean, we've had it all happen, and it's just an amusing part of our story. But we've had, when you have people that cancel and they never rebook, or people that were going to join and then they never join, or people, you name it, people that have excuses or objections or resistance, it is a numbers game. We always say in Mary Kay, some will, meaning buy the product or be interested in the opportunity. Some won't. So what? Somebody else is waiting. So move on. Not to say that we would, give up on people. I do go back if I feel like there's a calling on my heart to just keep contacting somebody or sharing with them. I will follow up until they say they're just really not interested. But if they say not now, but get back to me, no, a lot of times in Mary Kay just means not yet, right? So in my experience, you will only stay motivated when you, number one, focus on your why, like what the goal is going to bring you, not just the goal. Goals come and go, right? Goals are fleeting, but why is it that you want to reach that goal? What's underneath it? What are you going to do with that money? Is it because you want to get out of working another job? You want to replace your income? You want to let go of your other part-time job? You just need extra money for the holidays. You want to just have fun. You want to be around positive women. You want to move into something that's more flexible. We have women at every stage of life in here. So, but the thing that will keep you focused is there's got to be a why. Otherwise, if you don't have any reason to do this, you really have to reach deep. And that was my story in the beginning. I didn't have to work. I had all the money that I needed to travel. I could stay home, be with the kids, all the things. For me, initially, it was a different why than it became later. And that why changes often. There's different goals that we have in life. And once you get that second home and that cabin, and once you get that, flexibility and you build that customer base, once you get those, tangible things, the material things, you got to reach deeper. For me, it was achievement. It was making a difference in other people's lives. It's still that today, though. The second thing that in my experience will keep you motivated is when you track your activity, not just your results. We get so hung up on the bottom line and the scoreboard. And even in our company, I feel like there's been periods of time when that became such a focus that, people would try to take shortcuts. It's just not sustainable. So when you just take it step by step and you put in the action and you build that customer base and you build the loyalty, this is not a get rich quick. It is a build big income though over time, big income that is going to come back to you over and over again. When you work for somebody else, you have to put the hours in to get the dollars again, right? Unless you're paid, commission with a residual of some kind. But in Mary Kay, what I'm being paid today and what a lot of us are being paid today in April, like at her open house, those were not new customers. Maybe some of them were. I know Heidi had some new ones. I had a few new ones, but the majority of my over $3,000 in sales during that week was just, my customers coming back, and just a handful of them. That was not the work that I did during that 2-day time period. That was the work to develop. So when you build a customer base, because our products are consumable and something everybody uses and somewhat recession proof, that comes back to you again and again. And if you keep building customers, that comes back to you even bigger. And then of course, on the other side of the business, the marketing side, as you build your business, as you duplicate yourself and you find other people to sell to other people, remember we have no territories, you duplicate yourself even more. And pretty soon your paycheck is going to be from several different avenues of income, depending on what you want to do and how you want to build. So, focus track your activity, not just your results. One of my mentors used to say, you control the effort, let God control the results. And that was such a, excuse me, a learning thing for me personally, because I was very achievement oriented and results oriented. And sometimes the results don't come in the moment, as I said. So when you focus on just the outcome, you might feel like it's not worth it because you haven't done enough activity. We used to say, if you throw enough mud against the wall, some's going to stick. That sounds kind of crude in our business, but it truly is a numbers game. And I'm going to give you some numbers here in a minute. So when you're just kind of going along for the ride and working at Mary Kay, but not specifically working on a goal, you're never going to feel like you're doing enough. And it's really difficult to have balance. So when you focus on the numbers, you can focus on how much time, I'm committed to working. What is the kind of activity that I'm committed to putting it in? Only then are you going to feel satisfied at what you're doing, even if you don't see immediate results. So it's all relative. And so one of the ways that Mary Kay always taught us is to get out your weekly plan sheet, not just your weekly accomplishment sheet that tracks your sales, but your weekly plan sheet is a tool on the Mary Kay in Touch website under business tools or resources, I think, or you can just plug it in. But the weekly plan sheet, I know we all have calendars and I have a hard one, and then a lot of people have them on the phone, but the weekly plan sheet specifically helps you to see, like, where can I plug Mary Kay in? Where are the pockets of time? I had every excuse in the book about not joining, and a lot of them were valid. I was super busy, but I did have definitely chunks of time that I could do the business if I chose to. So, when you start really looking at, like, how much am I really putting into my business? It works for you, you know. I'm sorry, you work for it. It doesn't work for you. I kind of think of a brand new baby Mary Kay business like a new baby. In the beginning, there's a gestational period of kind of learning and going through training and kind of learning the lingo and learning about the products. And, you're never going to know it all before you start. Some of it you just have to kind of on the job training learn. But there is that period of time where you're putting a little bit into it before you see a result. But you can start selling immediately. You don't have to wait, which is nice. So, it's like a new baby. Sometimes you're giving that new baby a lot more time and love and attention and nurturing it to be able to get the baby to a point where it's a little bit more independent and can fly on its own a little bit, right? It's like that in our business. In the beginning, so many people quit before they ever get started. And so again, my suggestion is that, and I've kind of tracked this for a lot of years because I am a numbers person, is that everything you're doing right now is going to show up in about 3 months. So whenever you start and you start, building momentum, and you don't just start and stop, okay? When you do that, you're really going to start seeing the results coming around in about 3 months. And then 6 months and a year from now, you're going to see even a lot more results coming in. That's why we jokingly say, but I mean, I take it seriously, don't even think about giving up on your Mary Kay business till you've given it a year of honest effort, because in that time, if you're working at it, you're going to see success. But so much of it is relative to what do I want out of it? And again, it's been a tricky time the past few years. A lot of people have gotten derailed. Some people have quit and given up. Some people have thrived because they've really just embraced the hybrid way of doing business and embraced technology and the fact that we don't have territories. And no longer are we limited to a person that has a big local friend group, right? Or family. We've really opened our eyes to more ways of doing business. And Mary Kay has got it going on, debt-free, owned by the family, and double-digit growth, including records being broken over the past few years, year after year, even during this downturn in the economy. And having seen a lot of these waves and cycles in my career in Mary Kay, it is during times like we're going through right now that Mary Kay thrives. Why? Many reasons. Some people, maybe they're using a brand at the department store or at an esthetician's office, and they can get the same thing. Mary knows this because she just left an office like that, a place, a spa. They can get the same thing for a lot less money, better quality in Mary Kay. So I did attract a lot of customers. Plus, they couldn't go to the mall. A lot of customers couldn't go to the store to get their products. So that's one reason. During times when businesses are in and out. And the second reason, people are looking for ways to make extra income. So I think it was Heidi that said this a few months back, that in order for us to even meet our standard of living right now, and you guys, I just spent an hour on the phone with my insurance agent, so I know that this is true. We're going to have to make 25% more just to maintain our standard of living because of the amount of inflation that we've had with gas and groceries and pretty much everything. And we don't have any control over that, but we do have control over how can we supplement? So kind of back to my notes again. So when you're just going along for the ride again, you're going to you'd be thinking about Mary Kay, but not doing Mary Kay. And you get burned out just thinking about Mary Kay, but you're not doing anything. You're just going in circles. So again, when you focus on number one, what you're committed to and what your goals are, and then you line that up with the activity, and we can help you with that as directors. Like, if this is what you want, this is what you're going to need to do. I'm going to give you some numbers here in a minute too. Only then are you going to feel satisfied with what you're doing and be able to kind of have some balance. So here's just some of the magic. Here are your magic formulas. Okay. And again, there are exceptions. This is the rule. I would go with the rule. And this is taking into consideration brand new consultants and seasoned consultants. It takes about 10 reaches, okay, either phone calls or reaches out to people personally, or 20 texts or Facebook messages to book and hold 2 parties. Okay. Because, again, we have to double book ourselves. Not everybody is going to hold on the original time that they scheduled. It takes about 4 parties booked per week to hold 2 to 5. I'm sorry, 2 to 5. Hold on. It takes 4 parties booked per week to hold 2. Oh, is this hold 2? My numbers are all mixed up here. Yeah, let's just say double book. Okay, book as many as you want to hold. If you're concerned, that one isn't going to hold, you can invite an individual facial or a double facial. We used to call it double booking. Let's just say you have a random person that wants to come and they can join you with your hostess with the other party, and you can hold them both at the same time. A lot of people are doing multiple pop-up Facebook parties online and having thousands of dollars in sales. But again, if you're talking about meeting people in person, you want to double book what you want to actually hold. We used to say book 5 to hold 3. That was kind of the formula, and that's still kind of somewhat true. But I would say, book 6 to hold 3, because life is lifing on a lot of people, and then you're not disappointed when you really play by the rules and not the exception. The average party sales, it's now up to almost $400 in sales. That's kind of a low number, and that includes brand new consultants. Okay. The per face average for FaceTime, meaning, you're getting together and letting them try the product one-on-one, one-on-2, one-on-4, but it's about $100 a face average. And I think that still holds true. The average skincare customer is going to go order $400 a year in reorder product. So if you want to, if you build a customer base of 100 people and they're spending 400, that's your reorder business. That's your reorder base per year just on skincare. 1 out of 4 women that you share our marketing plan will become a consultant with Mary Kay. So if you want to have 3 team members, you're going to share with 12 women. You can do it all at once or one-on-one. The average new team member orders about $1,000 in inventory. Some don't order any, some order 600, some order enough stock to be a star consultant. Again, we don't have a requirement, but that's just kind of the average when you're tracking for CAR or directorship. And by the way, DIQ for the new gals means director and qualification. And the requirement for leadership conference is usually to be a director or a national director, but they're allowing directors and qualification to go. So that's something that anybody can achieve if they want to be there. It's a whole different level than seminar. Company average party in attendance in person is 4, online is 10. That's the current numbers. And then at each party, an average consultant books 1 or more party if they share the hostess plan. Okay, the way that you can really take the emotion out of this business and out of booking is to really work the numbers. How many of you have heard of the bubble sheet or the IPA sheet? I'm not going to get into that today. A lot of you have talked. So basically, it's just a bubble sheet where you track the amount of people that you have reached out to. And in every industry, real estate, insurance, anything where people are selling, it requires a ton of reaches. The cool thing in Mary Kay is once we get going, we work from referral. Once you get a few people and parties booked, they have fun, they're excited, they want to get hostess credit, they book their own with their own group of friends. And that's the magical way to build. But again, Mary Kay said we're never really going to be saturated in any market. First of all, we never know really how many people have a consultant number here versus how many are working the business or are just buying it for themselves, right? So there's no saturation, but there's also new baby girls being born every day. And boys, we have great men's products. We're getting more and more into that market. So take the emotion out by working the numbers and really starting to track, like how much time and or activity am I really putting in? So income producing activity means, IPA means income producing activity. You can spend all day long or organizing your inventory and doing this and fixing to get ready to get started. But, income producing activities are things such as getting on the phone, making calls, connecting with people, following up with customers for reorders, sharing the business opportunity, holding appointments with people virtually or in person. And there are people now, you guys, that are doing 100% virtual. Giftology, one of the nationals that was on, or one of the top directors that was on there, Mary Catherine King and her daughter, they work 100% virtually. I think they're in Indiana. And they're like breaking records. So, but if you don't want to do that, I'm old school. I love the energy of meeting with people and letting them experience the product with the actual product or samples. So there's no right way, you guys. Now we've been introduced to, they call it the Waverly way, which is kind of open house style. That is in the new consultant training, how to do that, you know, which is passing the products around, maybe trying it on the back of the hand. So there is not one right way to do the business, but the formulas that I'm talking about are the numbers in terms of the activity that you put in. And I think so many people, like I said, quit way too soon because they haven't really had an opportunity to see the work that they put in come back to them and see the results. You know, having been in Mary Kay a long time, I watched women who had never even finished high school that were up on that stage as multi-millionaires. And they were some of the pioneers of the company. And nowadays, you know, most people do finish high school, but in Mary Kay, you see it all. You see women who are 18 in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 70s, and 80s now. You see all different shapes, sizes, ages, backgrounds, levels of education, lots of women with multiple degrees that realized that they were really giving up their flexibility and their lifestyle because they were a slave to their corporate job. And again, you know, that might be good for a little while, but it's not sustainable. People eventually burn out. And so she created this opportunity so that there would be no limit in terms of how much we can make, and we get out of it again what we put into it. The cool thing is, this is an upside and a downside. We get to determine when we work, how much we work. We're our own boss. The downside is most people are not taught how to have that level of discipline. We learn it in Mary Kay. You know, and I like to kind of give a lot of examples. And, you know, Heidi shared her story not too long ago, and also at our retreat of working as a bank manager and having 4 teenagers at home, and, you know, just that mommy guilt all the time of wanting to be where you need to be, and just finally saying, I'm going to take a chance and quit my job. And she became a sales director during COVID, having never been to a Mary Kay event, never been to any of the big events. She had a why. She had a big why. She had a reason. She had kids that needed her, and that was her reason at the time. And as I said earlier, that can change. Some of you, maybe it's not financial, you know, maybe it is, you need purpose. I see women coming, either getting fired because they've aged out in their job and the company can hire somebody younger for less, or, you know, they do retire, but they really don't want to have to live on that fixed income that they're getting from their retirement or from the government. And the fact is, most people don't have nearly enough in their life to retire at a reasonable age. I can't imagine retiring. I don't want to retire, but, you know, someday we all may be forced to. Mary Kay is an option for people in those boats. So I'm just kind of putting it out there, talking off the cuff here a little bit. So the other thing that I wanted to share with you is, right now we're kind of, we're 2 months into this quarter. This quarter is a 3-month quarter, and it's on the 15th to the 15th. So we're in a quarter that started September 16th and it goes through December 15th. And going back in the beginning, for me, the overwhelming thing was I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I saw all these people doing all this great stuff. This was a long time ago. And I needed a purpose, and I wanted some independence. And I'm just wired for achievement. I wanted to have accomplishments. I've been that way my whole life. In jobs before Mary Kay, I would work to the next position, and scale until I either had to get more education, which I did go back to college 3 times, trying to figure out what I wanted to be when I grew up. And, you know, that's great if you're applying it to something, but I didn't want to be an accountant or a financial person. And so I remember 2 or 3 different jobs before I came into Mary Kay as a career, scaling. And then until my person above me left, I was stuck. And so in Mary Kay, I can say after 34 years, there's never been a position where I'm stuck. There's always another carrot being dangled. There's always more exciting things, even at the national sales director level, guys. They have a lot of their own goals of what their area does at that leadership position. So it just keeps going. They keep adding more and more pieces of the pie. So it's out there for grabs. Jeanette Sheely, she's one of the national sales directors in Vegas. I used to have one of her gals that was an adopted offspring director under me. Basically, I raised her from a baby consultant and she became a director. And so Johnette used to include me in a lot of her retreats and things. And she would say this flat out to her people, because she was kind of a tough cookie. She said, if you tell me you can't afford something and you have a Mary Kay business, you're telling me you're just not willing to work for it, because it is an opportunity to, if it's financial that you're motivated, to build your financial income, whether it's in the moment, whether it is, we're not waiting for a monthly check. Now, as a sales director, we do get commission checks twice a month from the company, the 1st and the 15th, but we do get immediate bonuses for team building now. But any time, any day, any place, there are people out there that we can reach out to and we can sell this product. And 50% is no small thing. You know, when you think about spending an hour of time with somebody and, you know, averaging, back when I started, we used to say, we can't really say what you are going to make, but it was an average of about $25 an hour profit for FaceTime. And that's double today. I would say maybe even more, but I would very comfortably say if you average that out, it's about double. And sometimes, you know, you get together because you just want to make them feel good and look good. And they end up, you know, loving the product. And then they tell their friends. And then somewhere along the line, somebody decides they're looking for more in their life. And you don't have to know a million people to start with. That was one of my big hang. I had every excuse in the book for Connie. And luckily she just kept at it, because she knew that it was really just fear that was holding me back. And also I had to get over myself. I had a bit of a stigma about, you know, peddling lipstick after going to school for 7 years. And I had to get over it. And, you know, one of the things that Waverly recently said, I was listening to a speech that she had given. She's, by the way, the #1 director in the company. I think she's 22 still right now, just had her second baby. She said at her age, because we are attracting a lot of younger people now, she said, you just have to get over what people think and what people say. They're not paying your bills. They're not living your life. They may have different wants and needs, or they may let fear hold them back. So just get over. The good Wayne Dyer always says, it's none of your business what other people think about you. And Mary Kay always said, because most of the time they're not thinking about you, they're thinking about themselves. So if you have people that project onto you, you're selling Mary Kay. I still have people today, you guys, and I've had huge success in Mary Kay. Still say, are you still doing that Mary Kay thing? Not because I'm doing healing work, but they just figured I would have given that up a long time ago. Well, you guys, when we do the human lineup and we go to company events and you see the, even just in Boise, we're going to be doing one in January. When you see the lineage that we have, as far as the amount of time that our directors have been in Mary Kay, it's astronomical. And when we were at seminar, they did this standing up thing. They were really honoring legacy for the people that have been in Mary Kay a long time. And there were people standing up that had been in Mary Kay over 50 years. And I think because we're in such an instant gratification society and the microwave effect and people just wanting things to come quickly like that, some people just aren't willing to stick it out and build it. And the thing is, you can build fast. I'm not saying that you can't build fast, but again, it's all relative to the amount of time that you're going to put in. And so mainly, I really just kind of wanted to come to my heart and from my heart and say, I'm going to self-disclose here for a minute. And I've shared with some of the gals that, you know, there've been times when I've lacked passion, you know, having been in for a long time and going through a lot of transition last year, moving a couple different times and just getting things kind of figured out and, you know, scaling down life a little bit. And it's easy, you know, during time when there's so much going on in our world and so much fear and chaos and polarity to lose kind of hope. But that's one of the things that I think is so wonderful about Mary Kay. But I was down at a conference, one of the Hay House summits, and one thing was worth the whole entire trip for me that was said, which is, if you don't have passion, you will burn it down. And I felt my business kind of slipping a little bit because I was not putting the passion into it. And I had to get real with myself and go, why? Why are you not? Why do you feel like you have to counterbalance or choose one thing in life over another? And you guys, I'm not even kidding, just instantaneously, after starting to put a little bit of effort, our volume and our number, our size of our unit and our volume increased dramatically. And so it really is speed of the leader, speed of the gang. But I'm telling you that from my own perspective, because I was there where I was like, just taking it for granted. Mary Kay is always going to be there. And how many of you are doing that? You don't have to raise your hand, but some of you that have been in for a while, it's always going to be there. I'm always going to be able to do it. You guys, I can't believe I've been in for 34 years. And again, I've scaled fast. I've done a lot, and I've had times where like I've been in maintenance mode. So I'm just coming from my own perspective and story that a lot of people look at me and go, yeah, because you've been in that long, that's why you're successful. It's like, no, my third or fourth year in Mary Kay, I was top director Cadillac level, earning a really good income, 6 figures right away. So it doesn't have to take you 34 years to do that. But since that time, I've been paid over and over and over again, even though I'm pursuing other, passions and purposes. As far as time, my commitment and my excitement about my business, has returned full force. And again, I was one of those that was fortunate enough to meet Mary Kay and be trained by her. And I will never forget my last encounter with her at a future national conference where she, I think, knew internally that she had had some strokes and some health stuff. She wasn't going to be around forever. And she just held my hands and with kind of tears said, please, please, please keep passing it on. And so that's been my dedication and my commitment. And whether that be the product or the opportunity. Okay, so now I'm going to kind of switch gears for 1 minute and talk about the holidays. Okay, we know that, Thanksgiving is one day. Granted, there's some prep, maybe the day before. Christmas is one day. New Year's Eve is one day. So many people stop their business, other than people that are really doing a lot of holiday selling. I'll wait until after the holidays, right? And so many people buy that from their clients. I'll wait until after the holidays. I heard something really good on the hotline. I think it was today about, a lot of people are around a lot of family and friends. So this is a great time to gather people together and play makeup. Women love to do it. Don't buy your own excuses and argue for those limitations because you will own them. For everyone that says this can't be done, there's somebody else doing it. And I'm kind of beating the drum because I've told this story before, but when I was earning the use of my first car in Mary Kay, pretty quickly, after coming back from a company event, I decided I was going to get my car. That was the next step. And I got excited and I couldn't help but share. And pretty soon I was on target for my car. That's literally how it happened. It wasn't the car that motivated me, but earning that car, it was like, okay, I started this, I got to finish it. There was no other option. And in our life at that time, we were going through the first Desert Storm war, which is kind of like 9/11. Everybody was glued to the TV. There was a lot of political stuff going on. We went to close on our house up in Donnelly and we had 6 liens that we didn't know our builder wasn't paying the subs and he was getting draws from our bank. I was going through the maximum amount of stress with my oldest son my stepson that I was raising, my bonus son, behavior stuff and therapies and different things with him. I could go on and on. There was a lot happening and it was November and December were my last 2 months of car qualification. And I remember one of my friends, Debbie Jackson, some of you might remember, she goes, it's not the end of the world. And I'm like, if you don't make it. And I'm like, well, no, but you don't get it. Well, fast forward later, she went through a divorce. She decided to build her business that she'd been playing with for a while and she needed directorship income. And she goes, okay, I take back everything I said back then. I get it. I get it. So again, when the purpose is clear, the price is easy to pay. And for me, that was the beginning. And then the next step was just like we always say, if your boss came to you and said, you're going to get paid 3 to 5 times as much if you just take on some more responsibility and move into a leadership position. In Mary Kay, that's the opportunity that we have moving from car to directorship. Ask April. She's kind of been in both places. And it's like, dang, if I would have been a director that month, my income would have been that much higher for the same production, same level of activity. So again, if it's not your goal, don't have it. But I'm encouraging you that, a lot of us, and I myself included, just through this last few years are kind of tired but at the same time, a little bit restless. Like what would happen? Like if you truly started putting in even 20 hours a week, can you imagine what would be possible if you put in 10 consistent hours a week into your business? What would happen? Because a lot of you are doing pretty great on a few hours a week. And that's awesome if that's what you have to give and that's your goal. But I just really want to encourage everybody that, right now is the time when a lot of people need us. And don't even get me started on how much money people are spending on skincare and how much more important it is, even to the younger gals who used to go, I got great skin, I don't need to worry about taking care of it. Now they're like, I want to have the no makeup face and I want to have perfect skin, and they get it now. Mary Kay used to kind of jokingly say, oh gosh, I can't believe I've been talking this long, you guys. She used to say, when you're in your 20s, you have the skin you inherit, basically from your lineage, right? From your mom and your grandma and all that. When you're in your 40s, you have the skin that you have developed by taking care of it or not. And when you're in your 60s, you have the skin you deserve. And she would just kind of say that in her cute little Mary Kay way. And so I kind of want to leave you with just some things to think about. You know, we're not in January yet, and I don't want you to wait until January, but to really be thinking about, like, what do I want to do with my life this year? What do I want? What do I want my lifestyle to look like? You know, how much do I want to be working? When do I want to be working? You know, do I love my job, but yet I want to build something in this business? You know, what do you want, and how can Mary Kay fill that need? Maybe it's a second home. Maybe it's paying off debt. Maybe it's paying off student loans. That's a big one for a lot of people. Maybe it's a really awesome car that you want to go buy. You know, how can Mary Kay be a part of that and play into that? So just kind of be thinking about that tonight. And, you know, one of the things that Heidi credits a lot to her really kind of getting going on her goals, because she was in Mary Kay a minute before she started, so was I, was the little thing that we did of, you know, get up, get cute, you know, get your face on, do your hair, get dressed up and leave your house, get out of your house, go be with people, have a servant's heart, and listen to the $1 Million Messenger, the hotline every morning. I listen every morning, 5 days a week. There's a new message on there. These are from the daughters of the national sales directors, who also are top directors, all of them, that share messages. And it's not even just about Mary Kay. I have a gal that I was introducing to the business, and she makes $300,000 a year in another business selling some software and all that. But she listens to the hotline all the time, and she'll text me. She never got into Mary Kay, but she started listening to that hotline because it motivates her so much in her business. And, you know, the women on the hotline, the messages are timeless and they apply to other areas of life. So I think what we did is get up, get cute, you know, get dressed, you know, get out of the sweats, get out in front of people, listen to the hotline, and listen to some kind of motivation or training every day. There's a million podcasts out there. And Mary Kay has the mobile learning app. So that's a great thing. We used to listen to CDs in our cars all the time, but, you know, put your heart into it, throw your heart over the bar a little bit and see what this can be for you. You know, it has been so much for so many people. Mine is just one story of, you know, somebody who got into Mary Kay for one reason, and then that reason has changed many times throughout my career in Mary Kay. But I continue to believe in everything that Mary Kay stands for. And I truly believe that there's nothing that you could possibly want in your life that this couldn't be a conduit for. This isn't for everybody, and that's okay. But Mary Kay used to always say, but everybody should try it, because you learn so much in a business like this. And so I'm going to kind of leave you with that, and kind of transitioning over. I asked April Scott to share a motivational closing with you tonight, but I kind of want to open it up. Does anybody have questions, comments? I see Heidi has her hand raised.
You said when the purpose is clear, the something price.
The price is easy to pay.
Price is easy to pay. Thank you. I'm like,
in other words, when you know that in order to get this, I need to see this many faces or do this much activity, it's not a hard price to pay.
no.
What we do is fun, guys. Making people feel cute and feel good and uplift them. And just the culture is so positive, and the vibe. And we are that, like, we're the only Mary Kay that a lot of people will ever meet. So I took that very seriously when I heard that the first time. And I was in my 20s when I started. And eventually, you know, I was able to come back. And a lot of the people that I did introduce to the business in the beginning were a little bit older, but now I'm one of those. I'm way past one of those older ones that's now reaching for that next generation to make sure this passes on and this is a viable business down the road, because we're already kind of into our third generation now from when Mary Kay started. And you guys, the company just keeps rocking. And I believe it was because we had her as a mentor, and because she was a visionary, and because she was answering the call that God put on her heart to create an opportunity for women with flexibility, where we could put our faith in our family first and our career third, where we could have balance, where we could have make full-time income on part-time hours, all of those kinds of things. So I could go on and on and on, but you know, I think of her often and how much she sacrificed to give us the opportunity that we have today. There's not too many like it, and there's only just a couple of companies that have been around that long that are in direct sales. And Mary Kay has been so much for so many people. It's been life-changing for a lot of people, and some of you are already testament to that. Your life today. One time they had it. Okay, I'm going to do this. Okay, do you guys care if we go just 1 minute over? Close your eyes for a second. For those of you who've been in Mary Kay for a while, I want to take everything out of your life that has anything to do with Mary Kay. Meaning, first of all, the product, the career opportunity. I know. The career opportunity, the friends, the personal growth, the money, the positive culture and vibe, you know, how you have grown in that way, any kind of spiritual growth that you may have had, the connections, you know, your customers, any of your team members, for those of you who are team builders. Take all the people out of your life. How do you feel? You can open your eyes now. How does that feel? Again,
that feels awful.
Yeah, when you think about like how much your life has changed, and sometimes you have to go back a year or two to see that. Lonely. Okay, some of you said awful, lonely. Anybody else?
right back to where I started 4 years ago.
Okay. Yes. Okay, you guys. All right, so I'm gonna kind of leave you with that. And I'm gonna invite April on to share a motivational closing.
That was
And
great, Denise. Thank you so much.
You girls, absolutely.
So I knew right away when you asked me what I was going to read, and I was like, I hope it kind of goes along with what she was teaching. I don't even know. So I'm going to share this because it just has spoken to me over the last several days. I hope you know that your heart is enough. You're smart enough and funny enough and interesting enough. Your smile is enough. Your light is enough. And the parts of you that you struggle with and try to hide, they're enough too. And if you just want to sit for hours and not say a single word, your presence is enough. You don't have to talk to fill the noise. You don't have to say anything at all. Just stay true to yourself. Offer who you are, not who you think the world wants you to be. Because I promise your heart is enough. You're enough, and you have nothing to prove.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So true. We all need that. We need to be reminded of that. And
I'll
again,
post it.
you post that?
I'll post it, yeah.
And who you are is, you know, this just gives you another platform, so to speak, to be able to share with other women, you know, the things you know, how you've grown, motivate other people, help other people scale. And there's something so amazing moving into this timeline that we're in. I personally believe that whatever we do is going to be really blessed if we're helping other people and if it's good for the collective. And Mary Kay was always about that. She said, we get what we want by helping other people get what they want. She didn't build this company to be a multi-billionaire, although that happened, right? She did it. And I don't know the number, but something like 76% of corporate profit goes back to the sales force. She built this company to create an opportunity for others, and that she did not have at the time. And she always said, if one more woman's life is enriched from this, it's been a good day. So just take that. And thank you so much for sharing. And let's keep scaling, you guys. We're coming into the greatest selling season and probably week in the next couple of weeks of our entire year. So offer your services. I just had a friend that came over last night and she bought $175 worth of some of my leftover little gifty things that I had from the open house. So it can happen anytime, anywhere. But just make yourself available and hold the intention that I'm here to serve. I'm here to help other people. And when you do that, it's going to come back to you. That's just the way it works. So have a great week, everybody. Love you all. Good night.
Have a great night.
Welcome our new girls.
Welcome, ladies.
Bye for now.
Thank you.